Tape www.suividecolosénégal.com. À École au Sénégal, c'est facile, tu n'as qu'à te connecter. Tape École au Sénégal, les leçons sont beaucoup plus détaillées.
This is our part 3 of writing, and this time around is to write letters. It would be amazing that sometimes people don't even know the proper way of writing letters. And whereas we do that all the time, we're sending text messages, we're writing emails, sending emails. Comment écrire une lettre? How do you write a letter? The post office and email. Writing letters, there are two forms, and I have the table here. There are two forms, okay, of writing a letter. You have the formal. You have the formal, and then of course you have the informal. It's just like with the salutations, formal greeting and informal greeting. It's the same thing. We use the informal for something with easy, people that we know that we're comfortable, like family and friends and things like that. We use informal. But with the formal, it's something, it's much more professional, much more serious. A business partner, a boss, someone you're meeting for the first time, something professional is oftentimes a formal, and it's the same idea with the letter. The way you present a letter to your boss, to a business partner, to another business, to another colleague, it's different from the way you present a letter to your mom, to your dad, to your sister, to your cousin, to your friend. They're totally different, and the tone too is different. And so on this chart that I put here, the business for the formal, you have different forms. I'm just giving you examples of business letters or of formal letters actually. You have a business letter, a complaint letter. If you want to give a complaint, maybe because your neighbor is acting. And so you have a complaint letter. A job application, on veut appliquer pour un boulot. A notice agenda, when they wanted to send you out and give you a notice form. Hiring, c'est recruter, to recruit is hire, to hire. A hiring letter, if they want to vous embaucher, it's hiring letter, it has a formal. A sales letter, si on veut faire des achats, a sales letter or an order, passer une commande, oftentimes, and there are many others. These are just examples of formal letters. And then of course you have the informal letter that you would write to family and friends. Okay, to family and friends. Family and friends is what you use informal letters to. Okay, you use them for family and friends. So you get to know the differences. It's almost like, professional and family, or professional and a cozy or more comfortable section. That is how you write. That's differences of formal and informal letters. Okay, you're just saying hi to a family because you went on holidays and you want to describe how it was to a friend or to mom or to a cousin. That is definitely informal. But if you're writing to your boss about a business deal, about a project, about a sales or something that is more of a professional or more of a formal letter. So the next question is, how do you present these letters? What are the differences? What's the format of presenting a business letter versus an informal letter? What is it I need to do? How do I need to present it? It's simple. It just depends. There's just a couple of differences. Okay, the first thing that you need to do, you see I have my table. This is like a paper and another paper, formal and informal. Let's start off with the formal. What is it that you see? The first thing that you need to do is on your top hand right. This is your paper, the top right, not left, the top right. It has a sender's name. Sender is you writing, me writing. It starts with the name, the first name, Raisa, the last name, Bello. So you have the sender's name, Rita or Raisa Bello, okay? And then you have the person's address. What's your address? Is it Mariste? Is it Plateau? Is it Wakam? You have your full address, and then your email, okay? And then your telephone number. And then you step down a little bit and you put the date, April 21st, 2023, whatever it is, you put the date. And then on your left-hand side, you have the recipient, means la personne qui reçoit, the recipient. You have to start with the recipient's address, the recipient's name. You need to know the title of the person. C'est docteur, What's the title? Is it doctor? Is it excellence? You know, is it somebody from the gouvernement or an ambassador? You have to use His Excellency, you know, or it's just simply, so you put the title doctor or Dr. Mrs. Is it une dame? Dr. Mrs. or Dr. Mr. Whatever it is, you write the names, you put the same thing, the address, and then you put the address and the email and everything, and then you put dear. I put it this way because it depends. Do you know that person? Dear, ça signifie cher monsieur. If you know that person, you put dear Mr. Paul, for example, dear Mr. Njai, for example. But if you don't know the name of the person, you just put dear sir. If you know the name of the person, dear Mrs. Lobe, for example. But if you don't know the name of the person, you put dear Mrs. or Mrs. or dear Madame, if you want it. Dear Madame, not even Mrs. Dear Madame. So it is either or. If you know, you put the name. If you don't know, you put sir for a man or Madame for a woman. Okay? And then you write the introduction, pour saluer, the purpose, and then your conclusion. And then this is how you conclude. Yours is very important, class. Take note. Your conclusion. Yours faithfully. Yours sincerely. Faithfully is when you don't know the name of the person. If you put here dear sir, you should conclude with yours faithfully. If you put here dear Mr. dear Mrs. Sek, for example, you have to complete with yours sincerely. That's why I put here the name given. If you know the name and you're sure, you're positive of that person, it is advisable to conclude with sincèrement, yours sincerely. But if you don't know the name and you're not sure, and you just started with dear sir or dear ma'am, you should put yours faithfully. Okay, that is how you conclude a formal letter. And of course here you're going to have the purpose of it. You know, the purpose here. What is it for? The letter is for what? The purpose of it. And then you do your paper. Then we have for the informal is almost easy. You see, it doesn't have a lot of stuff. Informal, because you're writing, you know, to family, to friends. It's just using colloquial languages. You're using the colloquial language, you know, colloquial language. Colloquial means it's easy. You can use shortcuts, abbreviations like can't, eats, you know, don't. You can use colloquial languages like ain't, or yeah. Those are colloquial, simple language, but you cannot use this for formal letter. Formal letter, you have to spell out everything. It is, I cannot, I do not, I want to, I do not want to. It has to be complete sentences. You cannot cut it. But whereas with informal, yes, you can. Jargons, you can use jargon languages, ain't, sia, okidoki, kacha, XOXO, all those you can use them, but never in a formal letter. And so with that, you have the same. You don't write the title of the person. You don't write the title of your sister or your mom. No, it's just dear mom, dear cousin, dear friend. Of course, you have your introduction, your body, you conclude, and then you can use lots of ways to round up. Best wishes, meilleurs vœux, kind regards, yours truly, with love, depending on whom you're writing to. Or you can, some people put XOXO. So it just depends. See ya, catch you later, ta-ta, ciao. So there are different ways that you can conclude a formal letter. They're easier and, you know, they're more comfortable. And so you don't worry about the language. But with a formal, it's different. You have to worry about the tone, about the language, about the person, you know, to be a little bit more tactical when you're doing a formal letter. So these are the different ways of writing a letter, and I need you to practice it. Go practice how to write a formal and an informal letter. I hope that you've seen examples, and now you know examples of what the letters are, and that it will help you. Thank you, and see you in the next class. This is Teacher Raissa.
www.suividecolosenegal.com